if you're listening to me right now, whether you're a musician, whether you're into any creative work, if you're into entertainment, dancer, DJ, whatever, there's a lot you can benefit from staying tuned to the show. And if you have any questions at all for Victor Ekpo, who is an entertainment lawyer with us in the studio, you can always call 0700-1051-1051. I'll take that again, 0700-1051-1051. You can also send us a WhatsApp message to 0909-916-4403. I have a ton of questions for you. So talking about an artist, when you were once an artist, so I think you'll be able to give us clarity on this. At what point in an artist's journey should he enlist the service of a legal representative? Yes.
The moment you say, I want to make music professionally. Yeah. So once you say, oh, this music, this is what's going to feed me, my generation, my family, my unborn kids, my whatever, then you need a lawyer. Because whatever conversation you are going to have with anybody, you need an agreement moving forward. So from that moment you believe you want to do music professionally, yes, you need a lawyer.
Okay, so for most up and coming artists,
they can't afford.
So what would you advise them to do when that's their reality? Yeah.
Well, this is always a tough question because for me, I feel like it's a very big necessity, and you have to figure a way around it. Now, most times, emerging artists want to go for the biggest lawyers in the game. It's not possible, except you find a lawyer who reaches out to you and say, oh, I love you so much, your talent, and I want to work with you. But it's going to be really hard to get a lawyer who is there that's like at the top with an emerging artist. So what do you do? At least, let me say to an extent, even if you didn't go to school, but somehow you will know a lawyer that just right now, people used to say, oh, entertainment lawyers are very few and all of that. But I feel like in the last 3 to 5 years, there have been a very good increase in percentage of entertainment lawyers, especially from schools. I have people who now reaching out to me, the younger ones. Oh, can you mentor me? So there are like a couple of lawyers. You look out, you use your social media. Okay. You would find. You start with one that that I don't want to say but you and the lawyer in terms of profession, the lawyer to is starting his career. When I started, I was reaching out to very emerging artists because I know that I won't be able to work with the big set of artists. So these are the people I would want to work with. Sometimes I offer, let's do a 3 months free. If you love my services, then we can arrange. There are ways to, I'm not going to come on this station and tell you ways you could.
You could,
but trust me, there are ways you could. Sometimes you might not need to have the lawyer and the retainer because it might be expensive. If you love my services, then we can arrange. There are ways to, I'm not going to come on this station and tell you ways you could.
You could,
but trust me, there are ways you could. Sometimes you might not need to have the lawyer and the retainer because it might be expensive. You can say, per project, if I need this done, can we agree to a particular amount? And then before you know, you grow. And there's one thing that works. Once you build friendship with your lawyer, sometimes there are times where I've done work unknowingly either at a reduced rate or even free because there's that existing relationship. So sometimes you meet a lawyer, you go for events, and some people meet me and they don't tell me at first, oh, I have this issue. They just say, it's good to have a lawyer in your space. And before, personally, I now know that it's a trick. But okay, let's work with your trick. Let's see how it goes. But those are things that there are just ways you could beat it. I understand lawyer is expensive. Trust me, I'm expensive. But but there are ways you could go around it, especially when you know that it's very vital to the next stage in your career. Like maybe a record deal is coming or you're about to enter with a manager because that's a very important phase. All those things, if you can't even put a lawyer on a retainer, just find a way that an entertainment lawyer, I would love to hammer on that because the entertainment field is very, it's a niche. If someone doesn't understand sometimes I get so frustrated when I'm reviewing contracts with lawyers who are not entertainment lawyers. Like, we are not arguing on the facts. Like, some things are basic, like, this percentage is usually what it is, and you're not arguing with me. And you know, the worst thing is trying to educate them, because they think like you are trying to cheat them, but they don't know that is it. So that's why I say not just a lawyer, an entertainment lawyer, because the industry is very, and someone who understands the business, because you might have lawyers but they don't understand everyday things are evolving. Now we have AI in our system. So.
Yeah, true that. Okay, let's now touch on some of the bone of contention that usually arise, because I know that beyond contracts, negotiations are part of what lawyers do, right? Very beyond proofreading the contracts and all of that, you know. But let's just stay on contracts for now. There's this word that came up, you know, during the whole Charlie Poppy issue and all of that. That, in quotes, clause in perpetuity.
Yeah.
These are some of the things that bring issues. And what are some things that you could say, okay, people need to really go through before signing contracts?
So it depends on the type of contract you're signing. So there are key terms that would be applicable to each contract. But I would say for whatever contract, the duration, the term of the agreement. So you need to look at the term, and you have to understand that it's a business. You want a smaller term, but the business needs a longer term, because they are going to, especially when they are investing.
Yeah.
And trust me, out of every 10 artists who have been invested, money has been put on. I'm not sure up to 8 labels make back the money. Talk less of even making profit down. So you need to
really?
Yes, it's a very small percentage. I think 2 years ago, Spotify said less than 2% of artists worldwide make returns back for their companies. So most times it's money going down and you are not making that money back as a business. So you need to understand, I just want 2 years. Then you understand, if I'm investing 100 million naira in you in 2 years, what are the chances I'm going to make my money back in 2 years? There's even a possibility that I'm going to spend 100 million naira and still nobody is going to roll with your music or love your music. So you need to look at from those perspectives. There needs to be a balance, the duration. Then you need to look at, maybe let's talk about the perpetuity. If I'm investing as a label and I own the masters, the copyright is clear. I own the copyright forever.
Yeah.
So now we can only have conversations. Instead of owning this copyright forever, as an artist, after some time, can I buy this work from your hand? So
or can it revert to me?
Can it revert? And reversion is at the what's that word? I can decide not to want to revert because I own it by law. I own it. But I might say, okay, after 30 years, after 40 years, I will revert it back to you. We could say, if we have made some amount of money, we put a threshold. If we have made such amount of money, I could revert it to you. But most times labels will prefer to say, you can buy, you could sell. So those conversations. But for management, your manager cannot earn in perpetuity. That you should never allow that. So now, what a manager can do is, after the term of the agreement, they can still earn some percentage from the things they worked on during that term, but for a fixed period of time. It's called post-term commissions or sunset clause, depending on the region. The word interchanges. So I could say, we finished the 4-year deal as a manager. Now, for the deals I worked on during that 4 years that we worked together, now let's say the manager was earning 20%. Now it says from first year, let's say the deal ends 2025 January. So from 2026 January, I could take a reduced 15%. 2027, I take a reduced, let's say 12%. 2028, I take a reduced 5%. And remember, only on the things that they worked on. So if you have moved to a new management, the old manager cannot come and say, this new thing you are working on, I'm entitled to it. No. And then it's for a limited period of time. So if you have anybody as a management saying, I want to take 30% forever, that's crazy.
It's good to know. And if you're listening to Victor, who is in the studio talking now, you would know why you need a lawyer, because there are so many more scenarios like this.
I don't think I've even started. There's even accounting clauses. Those are things people joke about. That's where the label and the management provides your income for you. Most times, one of the biggest issue you see is money. money is always, oh, I wasn't provided my money. In short, there are suits even in US every time labels or artists start with their publishers, my income was not properly provided. So you need to have a proper accounting clause that provides how you can inspect your money, and as at the time you can inspect. People don't even know they have limitations to which you can inspect. There's a time frame. If after this time you send me this thing, so let's say you send me June 2025, so I can say after 2 years of the statement that came in after June 2025, you can't inspect it. So you need to know the time frame that you are entitled to inspect. So that's why for me, I feel like it's a very important clause that people don't think, oh, it's just accounting clause.
Well, this is deep though, and that's how it is, because in the entertainment industry, music also is very lucrative. It's a high level professional industry, so if you're going to play at that level, these are the things that you must be aware of, and that's why you need a lawyer. So let's now, a lot of people don't know how big the industry has gotten, and for someone who has negotiated deals, when I saw the amounts, it was staggering, right? And
those money is not for me, it's for the clients.
Yes, it's for the clients, right? So I'm like, these days, like, I just want to put a perspective to it. Like, how much are artists really making in such deals? You don't even have to be specific as to what artists, but in terms of endorsements, in terms of, because sometimes we see a lot of figures and we don't believe it. Sometimes it feels like some of them are just vanity figures.
People are just Twitter billions.
Exactly. So sometimes it's a bit like you don't even know what to believe.
Yeah. So sadly, we don't have a proper data for what Nigerians artists earn, especially from touring. So you check outside the other regions, the developed regions, you could just go online, you see a very good deal. They might not be accurate as to the exact, but you have an idea. But here in Nigeria, anybody can tell you, oh, this person charges $1 billion.
Exactly.
And then it goes around and you don't know, you can't even verify. But what I can say is that there's money, but I don't want to be a joy killer, but not like what you see online. That's paparazzi. Not that there isn't money, but because most times artists are owing labels heavy amount of money.
Okay.
So you think the artist is balling and that, but there's a minus on his head. So there's a minus. So sometimes artists make money. Like some artists make very good money. That's if they're able to repay the amount they advance and all of that. But I would say that you need to, for emerging artists precisely, do not go into the mindset that I must make $100 million in a year when I start. Nah, you have to go in the mindset that your music is not going to end in 2 years. It's something that's why it's royalties. They'll keep popping up. They'll keep making the more music, the more you sell, the more music would the more money you would make. And you need to take music as a brand now, and not just. I mean, for some artists, they don't like it. They just want to make music and sleep. But I don't think we're in that generation anymore. Because if you are doing that, there's someone who is making music at the same time, whose Instagram looks like a model, at the same time is doing like on TikTok. Like I have a client who hates TikTok. But you have to be on TikTok right now because everybody wants to see you making dance moves. But some people just want to make music. But now the world is developing.
Changed.
So what I would say is look for other ways as a brand you could make money, even apart from the music. I know someone who is as he's such a good artist, he also makes very good mood boards. Mood boards are for like when you develop your video shoots and all. So if right now money from music he can hold and say, oh, let's do mood board. I could do mood board. I know someone who is an artist and also a creative designer who is also directs her videos and all of that. So you need to look for other ways to brand yourself. Trust me, it could be hard because I've tried making a couple of TikTok videos and I stopped.
It's a lot of work.
I stopped.
It's a lot of work.
I couldn't cope. So it's a lot, but there's money. Well, you need to understand that, especially where there's an investment on your head. I need to recoup my money before you start to earn. So I need to make the money I invested before I start to earn. And Yeah, so that's it. But I would say make yourself a brand, a big brand that other places you could make money off other things.
Interesting. Okay, so let's take a look at music licensing, and you have some experience there as well.
Yeah.
So when artists sample songs, because we have a lot of sampling going on now in Afrobeats.
Yes.
What steps?
Sampling and interpolation.
And interpolation. Yeah. So what steps? In fact, you know what? Let's just even define those terms.
So it's a very thin line that people make mistakes. In short, even myself, I have to look at it very well because it's very thin. Sorry. So the idea is however you want to look at it, you are taking from someone's work.
Yes.
But in terms of the legalities, when you are having those conversations, when you want to clear, you have to be precise with what you are doing. So sampling is more like lifting. I lift a work that's your work and just put it in my work. That's sampling. I didn't change, just what you did, I put it. But interpolation is you now amending what the person did to an extent. But any layman will still be able to attribute what you have created to the original owner of. So you could have a beat, you could have, if it's a beat, the same beat, I just sample, I take it and put it on my own record. But it could be that for interpolation, I'm only amending the melodies so that my lyrics is different from what you created, but I'm now taking those melodies that were probably taken, so that if I do I think that was Ayastar Jazzy song on that was you could think I've forgotten that that was Don Jazzy's song.
Yeah, Don Jazzy's song. So what's it? You Bad.
Yeah, so anybody could just start humming. Now that's interpolation. But sampling is a situation where you take directly
the exact thing
and put it in your. So yeah, back to your.
Okay, so when you've done that, how do you stay on the safe side of the law to use it now?
Yeah, so you need to know what did you use. Did you use the sound recording or did you use the composition? So the sound recording is the full work. Did you lift the full work? So if you are doing that, you need to clear with the owners of the sound recording, which is most times the record label. But if you only lifted or sampled
the
composition, you need to work with the publishers who control the composition of the work. So that is the first place, and you won't know. That is why you need
not really the artists or their management.
What do you mean? Who?
Is it the publishing company or the artists?
No. Most times the publishers are not the artist or the management. Some artists are self-published, so they probably just do maybe a publishing company, but some are signed to like a full publishing company. So you need to reach out and you have to do your due diligence. There is nothing like I didn't see online. I can't see my work and you're telling me you didn't see online. That's not my business. You have to look for it. I mean, that's why you now need a lawyer, because a lawyer will be able to know, who owns this, you might not know at first, but those you would find a way. So you need to know who owns. Then when you could now ascertain who owns that, you now start having conversations based off on, okay, this work, this was the extent as to which I used it, so these are the percentages we want to offer. And then they say, no, we can't take that, we want this. Some would say, there has to be a fee, a license fee attached to it. So all those processes, that's the process of negotiation. But the first thing is to know, did you sample, did you interpolate? When you do that, did you do it on the sound recording and the publish? Sometimes it's both, sometimes it's one. So
okay, are the fees that you have to pay to clear those things, is it humongous? It depends on
royalties. Yes, there would always be royalties, but it depends on whose work you are sampling or interpolating. So if it's like a very big legendary artist, or sometimes it might not even be a legendary artist, you might just have an artist who had a very big song. So it depends. And some people would never allow you sample their song. I think I saw Mr. Easy last year. I don't know if it was Ohema or a song that he said he loves so much that he's never allowing anybody to take a sample on that song. So there are some songs that some people love so much and they feel like nobody's ever going to do justice.
To be watered down.
So you have those kind of things, and there are some scenarios where You say, oh, let's do royalties, and so it just depends.
All right, nice. Time flies when you're really getting into the meat of the conversation, but sadly, we just have to wrap things up on the show. But before you go, what will be your top legal advice for artists?
Top legal advice
from your experience, yes.
I would say always get a lawyer, and again I'll say this, an entertainment lawyer, because it stresses my head so much when I'm reviewing, and no disrespect to others who are in other fields. For me, I don't take work outside the entertainment field because I feel like my knowledge is not depth. I don't want to be going back and forth with a lawyer and the person feels like what's this guy saying, like you don't even know
the field you're in.
Yeah, so always know, because the music or the creative industry, it's so like you need to understand it's a business. If you are not in it, you don't know what's happening.
True.
So always get an entertainment lawyer, and also network a lot. So you might say, oh, expensive, oh this, but always and then try to trust your lawyers more. I think that's an issue. I don't know why they have trust issues
with lawyers.
But not necessarily lawyers. I think it's the emotion. Remember I said I did music, and understand the part of creatives being emotional.
Yes. So they want to take all the decision and control. So
but most times we are seeing, when I'm making a decision, I'm not making a decision from 2025. I'm looking at what's going to happen in 2030 if we sign this contract. So you need to understand that I have a foresight ahead, I'm looking ahead. But at the same time too, I try to see it from the perspective of, because I don't want to be someone who is making the decisions, I'm not listening, then I'm also at fault too. I need to understand the position. There are times where I feel this deal is not the best for the artist, but okay, this artist is really broke, he needs money, so how can we see that it's a bit favorable? And there are times I'm like, nah, this can't work out. So just trust your lawyers more. First get a lawyer, and then when you get one, trust your lawyer.
Well said. Thank you so much. We've been speaking with entertainment lawyer, senior legal manager at Zeta Oracle, Victor Ekpo. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Okay, and that's a wrap on the music gig. And if you have a topic you'd like us to discuss, or you need help promoting your music, or looking for career advice, we're just an email away at musicgig@city1051fm.com. I am Rex Okiche, signing out. You can follow City FM at City1051 across Instagram and X, and you can connect with me personally at Rex Okiche. Keep building, keep creating, and keep pushing your music dreams forward. Till next week, stay inspired.